It's Rick with Rock Bottom Outreach, and it is Real Talk Friday. Last night I was coming home, and the storms have been extremely bad. And I live in Sanger now, and there's a stretch of highway between Crum and Sanger that just seems to be accident city. But as I'm driving, I'm in actually a two-lane road, if you would, on the access road. And there's an 18-wheeler beside me, and I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if the water was so high he could not see me. But he came over into my lane. He began to come over into my lane, and I had nowhere to go. I'm just going to tell you straight, I had nowhere to go. But I cried, God help me, because it wasn't going to be good. And this I knew, because he was flying and he was coming over. And I don't know what caught his attention, but he realized suddenly that I was there. And it got me thinking, if you would, about a message God had given me. And I knew it would be time to share it when he told me. And I think it's now. Now is the time to share this, because what happened to me last night, or almost happened to me, kind of rattled my cage a little bit. And so I felt now's the time. You know, I tell my boys life is about choices and trying to live without regrets based on the choices that you've made. And in 2008, when I did hit rock bottom and they diagnosed me with heart failure, cardiomyopathy, if you would, they told me I probably would not grow old, and that my life would be shortened. And because of that, I have a pacemaker. If you don't know me, I have a pacemaker, and I risk cardiac death, meaning I will fall out, and that is it. And so that's why the device is there. But there's a lot of faith when it comes to that device. Faith to believe it'll work when it's supposed to work. And we found out back in, I think, October, that it did work. And the doctor said, hey, this had not worked. You would have died. And man, what a gift of desperation that is. Because when we go through things like that, and sometimes it just takes that, man. It takes that for a wake-up call to find perspective, to find desperation. What happens at desperation, man? We call out to God. We find perspective. We call out to God. And I said right then, when I knew, to say, my boys, if anything, will know this. I will live my life from this day forward to be the best dad I can be to my sons. Because if I don't get the gift of tomorrow, I want to know I did the best I could. And there's no doubt in my kids' life that they know their dad loved them unconditionally. That is not a regret I want to live with. And I want them to know how much I love them, how proud I am of them. And I want to take advantage of every minute I have. Because you know what? Here's the deal, man. We take tomorrow for granted. We believe tomorrow's going to come. The Garth Brooks song, if tomorrow never comes, will she know how much I loved her? Do you take life for granted? That's what I'm asking you today. Do you just assume tomorrow's going to come? So you know what you do? You're waiting to tell somebody you love them. You're waiting to say you're sorry. You're waiting to take care of you, because you know what? Tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. You're not accepting Christ and getting right with God, because you know what? You will do that tomorrow. Let me tell you right now, God gave me the gift of desperation just like he did David. David in the book of Psalms, Psalms 13, and he says, how long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face? See, David was a man of faith, but there was a time he was desperate and he cried out to God. You know what almost happened to me last night, and what happened to me in 2008? Maybe it took rattling my cage, but I found desperation. I found perspective to not take things for granted. And that's people in particular. If you've got someone in your life that you've not said you're sorry, you have not said I love you, then I want you to do that today. If God laid this message on your heart, I want you to act on what you're hearing. As for me, I will not take today for granted. I will not take tomorrow for granted, because I know my percentage is a lot shorter than it was. I don't know what you need to do and God's telling you need to do, but you need to do it. Father's Day's coming. Don't let Father's Day pass without you being the best father you can be, or maybe telling your father you love him. It's Rick with Rock Bottom Outreach. It's been Real Talk Friday. Have a great day.